What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is the Jose Show. Happy Wednesday. All right, now let's get into the hot topics. Now let's talk about Smokey Robinson. So something really bad is going on with Smokey Robinson right now. Well, Smokey Robinson is being sued by 4 women who say they used to work for him, claiming he repeatedly sexually assaulted and raped them during their employment. So according to TMZ, the suit was filed in Los Angeles Tuesday morning by 4 Jane Does claiming they used to work as housekeepers for the music star and his wife, Frances Gladney Robinson. So the 4 accusers who say they overlapped while working for Smokey and Frances claim they were assaulted multiple times, with the first alleged incident occurring in 2007. So, while there are a variety of allegations made against Smokey in the document, there is some consistency among the Jane Does, with all of them claiming Smokey would call them into his bedroom or other places while his wife was away from the house, and these women allege Smokey would then force himself upon them, penetrating them with his fingers, forcibly giving them oral sex, or making them perform oral sex on him, and then raping them despite claiming they repeatedly told him no, according to the suit. So apparently, the woman claims Smokey would sometimes lay down a towel before allegedly forcing himself upon them so as not to make a mess of the bed linens. At least 2 of the victims claim he ejaculated inside them without protection. Alright, so they're suing Smokey for sexual battery, assault, false imprisonment, and gender violence, and they're seeking at least $50 million in damages. Okay, so Smokey's wife of 23 years is also included in the suit, though the women are clear she never engaged in any of the alleged sexual assaults or alleged rapes. Instead, they're suing Frances because they say she knew about prior alleged sexual misconduct Smokey committed and did nothing to prevent it from happening again. This is insane. It really sounds like it to me that these women are possibly falsely accusing Smokey Robinson, because this is a whole entire criminal situation here. And since this is a whole entire criminal situation, they should actually report him to the police instead of filing a lawsuit against him. Because, I mean, this is horrible, clearly. But I think, though, that it's also really interesting that several years after the alleged incident, they're barely reporting all of this when they could have done it a long time ago. That to me doesn't make any sense. And this is sounding a lot like the whole entire Bill Cosby case and like the Johnny Depp case, except with the difference that there are no drugs being involved with these women. You know, it's just rape and sexual assault here. And what I'm trying to say here is that none of these women were drugged. These women were just raped and sexually assaulted according to what these women are saying. And to me, it's really insane that they are asking for $50 million in damages, because that to me is just too much money. And that to me is already sounding like they want all of that money because they are filing a lawsuit with that amount of money, especially because they know that this guy, Smokey Robinson, has a bunch of money since he is a multimillionaire. So there's also that. So with all of that being said, it's also interesting too that they are involving Frances, who happens to be the wife of Smokey Robinson, in the lawsuit, because supposedly Frances knew about everything and didn't do anything about it, when in reality, Frances shouldn't even be sued at all, because even if she did know of the alleged incident, let's say, Frances is not responsible about what happens in between these women and Smokey Robinson. It's the woman that should be speaking out. It's the woman that should be defending themselves. I mean, yeah, I understand that Frances could have, defended the woman like a good person, but legally, I don't think that she should be sued over something that she didn't intervene herself into, So that to me just sounds really weird. So with all of that being said, like I said, I really don't think that this whole entire lawsuit really makes any sense to me, and I think that this is all a bunch of money stuff. Okay, and I believe that Smokey Robinson eventually he's going to come out and he's going to say what the heck is actually going on, if all of this is actually true on what's going up against him, or if all of this is a lie. Okay, but I don't know what this is going to end up in, but this is really scary. And this right here is just very traumatizing, just having to see what is going on right now. Okay, now on to the next topic. Now let's talk about Brad Arnold. So Brad Arnold, lead singer of Three Doors Down, has cancer, and he revealed the news in an emotional social media post. Now, according to TMZ, the musician told the band's many fans that he was diagnosed with clear cell renal sarcoma, a form of kidney cancer. And Arnold then says the cancer metastasized to his lungs, a stage 4 diagnosis. So apparently, Brad says he's trying to stay positive, giving all the glory to God, adding his faith means he's not scared at all. That said, Arnold tells fans this summer's Three Doors Down tour can't go on, and he apologizes to all the fans who were excited to cheer them on. All right, so apparently, Brad Arnold finishes off the message by saying he's adopting the band's song, It's Not My Time, as his own personal anthem as he fights off the disease. All right, so this is insane. Poor Brad Arnold. Man, I wish him nothing but luck. I wish him nothing but the best in this horrible journey that he's going through with cancer, because cancer is a B word. Cancer is just one of the most evil things that can happen in the human existence. And to me, it's even more sad that since he is a very young guy, he's already dealing with all of this. And I mean, he deserves to, be living a really good life, of course. He deserves to, just enjoy himself. He deserves to, have a really good time with his life, But, unfortunately, it's just one of those things where, unexpected things popped up in his body, and he wasn't even aware of all of that. And it could have been anything as to what caused this cancer to happen into his own body. It could have been maybe poor feeding. It could have been poor exercise. It could have been poor whatever, You never even know, because, cancer just pops up like a freaking ninja. And that's just what I'm trying to say here. So with all of that being said, man, I just don't even want to imagine the position that this poor guy is being put himself into, now that he is being in a situation where now he has cancer, unfortunately. So anyways, good luck to this guy, man. Good luck to this guy. All right, now on to the next topic. Now let's talk about Michael Pitt. So Michael Pitt's under legal trouble right now because Michael Pitt's been ordered to stay away from his ex-girlfriend this after he was arrested on sexual abuse charges. Now, law enforcement sources told TMZ Pitt has been ordered by a New York judge to steer clear of his former partner for a year. And apparently, TMZ was told, that Pitt has to avoid her home, work, or any place where she physically goes, and he also can't use electronic means, text, calls, emails to get in touch with her. So, as we all know, Pitt was arrested last week in connection with 4 alleged incidents prosecutors say went down between April of 2020 and August of 2021. So, according to the indictment, Pitt allegedly sexually assaulted his then-girlfriend before prosecutors say he hit her with a wooden plank. They're also claiming Pitt attacked his ex with the cinder block on a different occasion. So the actor, best known for playing Jimmy Darmody on Boardwalk Empire, was charged with assault injury with a weapon, sexually motivated, strangulation, sexually motivated, sex abuse, and forcible compulsion. Pitt pled not guilty to all charges against him. He posted $100,000 bail and was released from custody. All right, so according to Pitt's lawyer, Jason Goldman, he says that unfortunately we live in a world where somebody like Mr. Pitt, an accomplished professional who would never so much as contemplate these crimes, can be arrested on the uncorroborated word of an unhinged individual. All right, so in reality, the baseless claim is suspiciously raised some 4 or 5 years after the alleged incident, at a time when the two parties were in a completely consensual and voluntary relationship. This case will be dismissed. Okay, this is very suspicious, just like the Smokey Robinson case. I think that this guy, Michael Pitt, could possibly be innocent and maybe falsely accused, because of the fact that this ex-girlfriend of Michael Pitt is over here accusing Michael Pitt of sexual abuse and many other things just like 4 years later when this woman could have done that a long time ago. And personally, if this girl really went through a bunch of abuse, then she should show the proof instead of just falsely accusing Michael Pitt. And I'm saying this if Michael Pitt is actually getting falsely accused, because I'm not hearing anything about this girl showing any proof that she actually got abused by this guy. I'm not hearing anything about this girl actually having the real tears and actually getting the trauma and so in order to actually prove that she's the victim and that Michael Pitt is actually the villain here. So with all of that being said, this is just a really weird, awful stunt from the ex-girlfriend, maybe just to get back at him because of the fact that she wasn't satisfied maybe with the sex from him. Maybe she wasn't satisfied by how Michael Pitt wasn't there for her a lot in the relationship, probably, or something else that could be pretty stupid. And from that, then she went off and pulled a little stunt on him, a little get back on him by falsely accusing him of sexual abuse and this and that, And if that is the case, by the way, then that's very evil, very slimy, and you do not mess with the law at all, okay? Just because you didn't get what you wanted in a relationship. Because when you are dealing with the law, when you are falsely accusing with someone, it is no joke. It is something serious that you need to face and you need to really be serious about. Okay, you cannot be playing jokes. This is not a little kindergarten game where somebody did something to you and then you go off and do something to them in return. Okay, that's how it sounded like it to me. So with all of that being said, this is just a bunch of games, and I could possibly see that Michael Pitt will get dismissed from this case and he won't end up in any trouble. Just saying. Okay, now on to the next topic. Now let's talk about Nicole Scherzinger. So Nicole Scherzinger is giving it another shot. She's officially relisting her LA pad for a cool $6.5 million after failing to sell it last year. And this is according to TMZ. Now the singers shaved the price down from $6.7 million, and whoever snags it is in for a treat. The 4-story stunner above the Sunset Strip comes with jaw-dropping views of the city from downtown LA all the way out to the Pacific. Alright, so if that's not enough to reel in buyers, the place also boasts a sky-high lounge with a swing, a sleek lap pool, and an open-concept great room that screams luxury. Alright, so inside it's all high ceilings, airy spaces, a cozy den with a fireplace, plus 4 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms, basically everything you'd expect for top-tier A-list living. Okay, so Nicole's put in serious work renovating the place, which explains the price jump from the $3.7 million she paid back in 2016, and yeah, the glow-up's real. Alright, so the listing is held by James Harris and David Parnes of Carrollwood Estates. Okay, so whoever wants to buy this house from Nicole Scherzinger, go ahead and contact these people, James Harris and David Parnes of Carrollwood Estates, because apparently this house is really gorgeous. This house has a really beautiful view of the ocean and a very beautiful view of Los Angeles and of the rest of the Pacific. And as far as what I am seeing in the photos, this mansion really looks like a hotel luxury resort. It doesn't look like just, whatever. No. But here's the thing though. Who on earth would also want to buy this house at these prices, especially with the economy that we're in? Even the rich people nowadays don't want to be spending $6.7 million on a mansion. They just want to be spending maybe under $1 million because of how bad things have been lately. I'm just saying. Okay, I'm just so jealous though of Nicole Scherzinger that she's been living in this pad or in this mansion or whatever you want to call it. I'm so jealous. Like, I feel like if I were Nicole Scherzinger, I wouldn't be listing this at all for sale. I would be keeping this. Jesus Christ. But I don't know, man. Some people out there, they just want to find something better, or they're just weird, or they just can't even afford where they can't even live, probably. But in the case of Nicole Scherzinger, it would be darn weird if she wouldn't be able to afford a house like this, because she's Nicole Scherzinger. I mean, we all know her as this famous person. So, I mean, anywho, that is it for today's show, ladies and gentlemen. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's lovely episode of The Jose Show. Till next time, and peace.